From a team perspective, it's just the fit. Do you complement each other? As I said before, think that you should build a company with people that you consider better than you in different areas. And you're very complementary in terms of how you're going to build. It's going to be a long path with a lot of ups and downs. And you need to figure out that your co-founders both complement you and personally and professionally. There are going to be a lot of issues, a lot of good days, a lot of bad days that you can continue persevering and enduring during the during that time. And from an idea perspective, look, the ideas are a dime a dozen. You need to be passionate about what you're building. You need to understand that you're solving a real problem. And ideally, you need to encounter that problem firsthand to understand what is the true impact of both the problem, how it stands now, and the solution that you're offering.
Michael Nov, welcome to 20 Minute Leaders. Thank you so much for being here with me. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you? This cold morning in New York.
I'm doing great from a not so cold afternoon here in Tel Aviv. The sun is coming down. I'm looking at the ocean. It's the perfect setting to talk about startups, security from the design stage and your own journey. So, Michael, we'll dive straight into it. Before we get into prime security, tell me a little bit about your own background. How do you get to today? If you look at the big pillars of your journey.
Wow, quite diverse background. I'm a double immigrant. So born in Russia, moved to Israel when I was 4, kind of the first Aliyah, for those that are familiar with it. Spent my formative years of my career in the Israeli army. I did the equivalent of West Point Atuda program. So went to college before going to the army, and then spent 6 years as an officer, focused on FP&A out of all things. Knew that I wanted to spend some time in the US, so transitioned via business school, went to Duke. If you're a basketball fan, then go Blue Devils. Fantastic year thus far. And then after that, spend a decade in enterprise software. First in consulting, started working at Deloitte, spent 5 years there, working on specifically with private equities on carve-out stand-ups, which is a niche of a niche of a niche, supporting technology companies. How to build a net new business out of a business unit. Super interesting work. Teaches you a lot about operational excellence and how you should think about businesses in general. And always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had a bunch of entrepreneurial ventures when I was much younger in my career, so kind of pre-army. And embarked on my first venture with a few good friends. We started building a B2B SaaS platform for large events. Unfortunately, we started building that in COVID, just before COVID, and then COVID hit, so our business kind of pretty much died. And out of that, I joined a company called OwnBackup. I joined very early on, a backup and recovery company out of all things, not the sexiest area, but an area that I saw huge potential. The company was doing very well and seems like a product that's very needed. The hypothesis was simple. SaaS products need backup and recovery as well, not only cloud environments, just because they hold so much of your business critical information. I joined first to build the corporate development arm, which was classic M&A. And my role evolved very quickly. And at scale, after spending 4 years there, I played multiple roles, predominantly led the build buy partner motion. How do we deliver more capabilities to our customers? So I bought through companies, partnered with industry leaders, and built 2 new products. And the second thing, I was the right-hand person to our CTO. And kind of that's where I met the problem, and I can elaborate on that a little bit later. And a year ago, after meeting the problem firsthand, decided to leave with 3 good friends of mine to build Prime Security.
So walk me through, first of all, awesome journey. Really cool. From the upbringing and immigration to the military and FP&A. Interesting. Yeah. Curious how what lessons are learned there, but maybe we'll leave that for another episode. But getting into obviously consulting and then in the backup, and I got to know OwnBackup story quite intimately as well, which is quite a phenomenal company. Obviously, a very phenomenal outcome. Just recently getting acquired. 1.9 billion, I believe, cash to
Two,
Salesforce.
2.1.
2.1. So just a $200 million difference.
You know,
Peanuts, of course.
what's
Uh,
200 between friends?
exactly. And and so today, Prime Security, what stage are you in your life and career when you think about embarking on this entrepreneurial journey with two friends, a cybersecurity journey, which of all things, which is not so trivial?
I don't think there's a right place in your career to embark of that on a journey of entrepreneurship. I think for each person, it's going to be being ready whenever they are ready. I think the most critical part for me was building a company with people I wanted to build a company with, people that I consider better than me in different areas. So on my end, I waited until I had both the right team and we had the right idea. And from a team perspective, I was very fortunate to work with two of my co-founders at Own. So we came out of Own together. And the fourth one, Dimitri, he was a security operator for years and a good friend for years. And he's also considering an entrepreneurial journey. So it just made sense for us to partner and to build Prime together.
Yeah. And so when you think through how to, when the questions of evaluating the idea and the team when you're ready, what signals did you have knowing that you're ready?
From a team perspective, it's just a fit. Do you complement each other? As I said before, think that you should build a company with people that you consider better than you in different areas. And you're very complementary in terms of how you're going to build. It's going to be a long path with a lot of ups and downs. And you need to figure out that your co-founders both complement you and personally and professionally. There are going to be a lot of issues, a lot of good days, a lot of bad days that you can continue persevering and enduring during the during that time. And from an idea perspective, look, the ideas are a dime a dozen. You need to be passionate about what you're building. You need to understand that you're solving a real problem. And ideally, you need to encounter that problem firsthand to understand what is the true impact of both the problem, how it stands now, and the solution that you're offering.
And so how did these three elements come into play for you with Prime Security?
Yeah, well, two of my co-founders, we worked together for close to 3 years. We knew that we were a good fit. We were good friends very early on when they joined OwnBackup via an acquisition, actually. That's how I got to know them early on. And the third one, well, one of my co-founders knew him personally from a previous life and worked together. And when they joined Own, he introduced us because, well, we were both ex-Soviet Union Israelis living in New York around the same age. He just said, you guys should be friends. And we became friends through the process. So when this opportunity presented itself for all of us to work together, it was a no-brainer. Now, from a problem perspective, again, we arrived to it from two different sides. I encountered the problem of lacking security at the design stage at Own. Part of my role was buying security tools, and I had everything under the sun. I bought every security tool to secure our application because security was paramount for us. We stored and secured data for some of the biggest customers, biggest organizations in the world. We had to be secure. But that friction between security teams and engineering teams was always there. And the reason for that was at the design stage, at the inception of an idea or a change to a product, all security work was manual. And that friction was always there, causing us to miss a lot of product deadlines and not delivering product in time. And as Kevin O'Leary says, there gotta be a better way. So we started thinking of what could be the better way. While Dimitri used to work at PayPal, where he led security architecture and threat modeling teams, reporting to the CISO. He saw the same problem on his end as an operator, saying, well, I cannot support 9,000 developers. There's no way for me to manually do that. That was a year and a half ago, and ChatGPT emerged into the scene. How can you take that new technology and apply it to a process that is based all on unstructured data? all an ideation of how to build, what to build in terms of a product. So we came to the same conclusion of there got to be a better way here. You got to do something differently to enable this from both the business direction and the security direction. To us, it was a perfect fit.
So walk me through the product or the vision for the product. What it really is Prime Security all about?
Prime security is about product security. We see that product security has to start in the inception of the product. When you start ideating on what you're going to build, what you're going to change in the future. We provide three core capabilities to our customers. One, we scan your entire environment and allow you to identify when security teams are needed. When do they actually need to intervene in engineering work and to provide engineers with guidance how to build securely? And we do it with deep and immediate integration with platforms like Jira, Confluence, or G Drive. That prevents security teams from chasing after engineers and asking them, like, hey, what are you building? Is it going to be built securely? Or waiting for engineers to come to them and tell them, hey, I need your guidance here. That's friction causes a lot of incidents and balloons late remediations and pen test reports. The second thing is what LLMs do really well is contextualization. We aggregate all this information, contextualize every task for a security professional, surfacing both business and security risks for the team. Security teams usually call it Jira tab hell, where they used to going from tickets to the design, trying to understand what the heck is the engineer trying to achieve here. Because they're one security person usually for 100 engineers. And it's very hard to dig deep into every single engineering task, review it, and provide good feedback to the engineers. So we identify the risk, we contextualize it. Well, now let's drive it to remediation. So we provide and build custom recommendations based on industry best practices or the policies that the customer follow for every risk, and allow the security team to provide that to the engineer with a click of a button. In our case, is writing it back to the engineering workflow, which in most cases is Jira.
And so, from the security perspective, from the CISO perspective, if you actually look and we dive a little bit deeper into the value proposition for them, how much do they care about the value proposition of the sort of the frictionless engagement where you're the broker, if you will, between the engineering work and the security and the decision of the security teams to jump in and lend their hand versus versus doing the contextualization and helping identify and do the remediation yourself. Where do you see the bigger value proposition here?
Business velocity is everything in today's world for software-enabled companies. Above a certain scale, which we find around 100 engineers, building products securely and quickly is extremely important. And what we're solving is a process that's done everywhere, but it's done manually, and it scales also manually. So many security teams decide to, well, either structure the process and continue throwing resources, or in many cases, deal with the outcomes and playing whack-a-mole, identifying those issues in pen tests, identify those issues in productions, which pushes development roadmaps backwards every time because you're asking developers to go back and remediate those issues before sending the product to production. We add scale to the process. We allow you to manage the risks at scale and extremely efficiently without adding headcount. If you think about the promise of new AI technologies, this is essentially what you can achieve with newer AI technologies. You can scale extremely manual processes that are based on unstructured data, something that was never been done before in our case. So what we see is a lot of very, very positive feedback and a lot of adoption in today.
Wow. So effectively, if you're looking at the space down the line, envision for me what the world looks like in your eyes, let's say 2 to 3 years from now, in the context of what you're saying. So obviously AI is changing extremely quickly. What do you see possible in 2 to 3 years?
Ah, okay, you're also running an AI company that a lot of things are
In
possible,
in
and
your world, of course, in the world of the LLMs, and the different things that you're able to do with the security by design.
in my world, I see a lot of scale in for product security teams. They need to add headcount and continue growing your security team while development velocity is going to grow, is going to get slower and slower. Product security engineers will just get superpowers with new AI-enabled tooling. Superpower that will allow them to identify risks faster and to resolve them much faster and much earlier in the life cycle of development.
Do you think that there's going to be a market expectation or some sort of table stakes environment where this idea that engineers will behave or will program with security inherently is part of the engineering process, that'll be sort of a common methodology across enterprises?
I believe so. Um, we need to define what an engineer will be. Engineering is also changing as we speak. AI
Sure.
agents are optimizing engineering as well and producing more and more features and more code much, much faster than before. That's going to continue adding pressure on security to review all of it because nothing is going to be perfect out of the box. If we look at the modern AI coding tools, they are not yet security adapt out of the box. And even when they will be security adapt from a code perspective, they're not necessarily going to be adapt from a design perspective because understanding the design of the software requires deeply understanding the environment that you're designing the software in. That's where Prime will come into play. We will provide the guidance of how to build the software securely, not just from a code perspective, but from a design perspective, and do it at inception.
Absolutely. What do you think are the biggest challenges are going to be in your category for prime security over the coming years?
AI and the adoption of AI is always challenging. A lot of enterprises are hesitant to adopt AI at full scale. There's reliability issues, there's security issues, and trust issues in general. Those issues will be overcome with time. We need to prove ourselves, and AI tools need to prove themselves in general that they can be reliable and efficient and deliver on the promise that we have.
Right. And how do you find ways to mitigate that with the enterprise? So, is it just a matter of time? Is it a matter of maturity for the technology? Are the things that you see are effective as an entrepreneur that you can do in helping bridge that gap? Because obviously, it's our job as entrepreneurs to bridge that gap.
Of course, number one, build securely from the get-go. We are a very security-minded and security-oriented team that has built security products before. So for us, building security into the product is extremely important. We start from that. Secondly, reliability. Um, we all speak about AI hallucinations. How can you prevent those from happening? And we take it upon us to prevent it as much as possible. But embedding robust QA and automated QA into our processes so that the output that the customer sees might be more expensive for us because we have to, in this case, run LLMs multiple times to make sure that the answer is consistent. So we take the cost, but provide the best output to our customers.
Makes a ton of sense. Michael, what
And,
what
and, and that will be optimized with time too. We see the LLMs improving exponentially. So we see this as a temporary issue.
yeah. And I think that's part of the exciting areas of riding the wave and being able to enjoy the fruits of how the industry is adapting to the emerging technologies. Michael, if you look at this journey and in general, and you look also at the next phases of the journey, what are you most excited about?
Building a fantastic company with fantastic people and delivering true value to customers. It's always incredible to hear when you are actually being able to drive change and positive change and impact with customers. That's what gets me up in the morning. That's what gets me excited. And doing that with good friends and a phenomenal team that we built at Prime is is a joy. That's when work becomes fun, not just work.
Love it, Michael. Best of luck with Prime Security. Sounds like a very, very cool journey. Sounds like a cool area to be in today, and one that definitely helps integrate the way that AI is changing the landscape of security, and bringing security more inherently as part of the day to day of the organization. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Michael.
Thank you.